what I have actually discovered is that planning to travel and planning to return back home after long travel are both equally a lot of work, a lot of emotions, and a lot of time consuming. This is the lesson I'm learning now. Hello and welcome back to my channel. If it is your first time here, my name is Wamoyo Kariuki, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I also appreciate you who's here for the first time. And now that you've discovered this channel, why not take a moment to click the subscription button down below and the bell right next to it so that we're together every time I put up a live video. Today's topic is about planning to come back home after a long travel. I wish I covered this particular topic way early, but you all know that I started getting serious on my YouTube recently with the lockdown. And by the way, your feedback is so welcome because I feel like I've been all over. Like, I decided I want to do motorcycle stuff, and then I also want to share my life experiences and lessons that I have learned and what I've seen in the last couple of weeks. Yes, or maybe 1 month, is that when I started doing the motorcycle content, my viewership went up in terms of viewers and in terms of time. And when I brought in my life lessons, we've dipped down. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have to do 2 different videos on 2 different days, and that means that I have to do 2 videos in every week, and of course that's putting quite some work on myself, but I'm ready for the challenge. So every Sunday I will give you a lifestyle video, and every Thursday I'm going to give you a motorcycle content video. So just like I said when I was starting this video, today's topic is about preparing to go back home after a long travel. I never shared my initial experience when we were planning for the trip to leave home, but I will share that somewhere in the future. If you would like to hear about the preparation for leaving Kenya to get into this long travel, please let me know in the comment section down below. Some of you may know, some of you may not know. It depends on when you caught up with my channel, when you discovered this channel. We've been on the road for the past 2 years traveling with my husband, and we decided to do this trip way back in 2016 and had 2 years of planning where we dealt with finances, emotions, taking care of the children, and everything that we needed to do. We had 2 years of planning. Now, the difference between then and now is that this time we are actually coming back, not according to our plan, and of course with limited time to plan this return journey, but we still have to do it. So our initial plan was to travel to Alaska this year because the year started when we were in Panama and we wanted to get to Alaska this year. But that was in January, and I was back home in December and January to do a ride, an international ride, and as well as see family. So I left Kenya, came back to Panama in the beginning of February. I think I arrived on 3rd of February. And I was so excited, having dealt with sick feeling, having seen everyone at home, and also having taken a break from this long travel and dealt with other things that were also a concern during then. So I was so ready and geared to do this trip between Panama and Alaska. And then guess what? COVID happened, and COVID got us locked down in Nicaragua in March. So we only had a month of travel between Panama and Nicaragua. And even the reason why we got into Nicaragua is because we were chasing time to be in Mexico. So once we entered Nicaragua, the initial information we had is that borders are likely to open in 2 weeks. And guess what? 2 weeks. We've been here for the past more than 3 months. And it's at this time when the borders started extending their closure and the lockdown started everywhere in the world. We had to decide what to do. Now, there are 2 things. There's deciding to go back home, to end the trip, to whatever to do after this as a couple, and then there is the individual part dealing with it, and I'm gonna talk about the individual part because we're gonna address ending the trip and making that decision on our channel Throttle Adventures. And if you're here and you don't know that we have a travel channel, we have a travel channel called Throttle Adventures. Please make sure to subscribe to that as well. We take you through our journey with us. We show you the world through our eyes. Yes. So get there. We are now covering the journey back home. So we'll have a number of videos taking you through the process of us coming back home. So of course, the first thing that happened is when we now decided to talk about it and decide whether we're going to continue with the journey or we're gonna go back home, it was the emotional part of it. Those emotions have taken a while to deal with, but I'm happy that every day I feel much better. And I would say that time is the best healer when it comes to this, especially when you make this decision when you really did not intend to. How am I coping with it? I'm coping with it by looking at life positively. One thing is that we've been blessed to be able to travel safely and enjoy the world so far for 2 years, not something that happens to everyone. So I am appreciating that. I am looking at the photos from the previous travels and enjoying looking back how far we've come and the things we've done. I'm also keeping in touch with other travelers that we met, friends that we met on the road. These have been very, very helpful in coping with the emotions of just terminating the trip. The other thing that I'm doing to make sure that I just cope with these emotions is to just start looking at other travels that I can do when we get back home, and that is obviously so exciting. I think I have a list of places that I want to travel to in Kenya when I get back home, and that keeps my energies way up. And so I feel like it is not the end of travel, it's just a pause on the international travel, and I'm going back home to travel locally. Then from emotions, the second thing is planning the return back. Oh my God. I told you we had 2 years to plan our journey, the departure from Kenya. This one has been quite some work. Remember, we were not planning to go back home at this time, and so this is very, very unexpected. And what this means to us is that we have to plan to go back home within a very short time. Planning to go back home has been quite a hectic one, if I may put it that way, and I'm not being negative about the process. It's just because of a few things. One, COVID happened, and COVID has really interfered with businesses, it has interfered with logistics, it has interfered with so many things, including finances in many places, and how the work structure is done. And for that reason, planning the return journey, where we have to look for shipping for motorcycles, we have to look for flights, we're dealing with borders that are closed, we're dealing with offices working with minimal staff, we're dealing with airlines that have suspended their flights, has just contributed to it being quite a difficult process for us. And to add on to that is the fact that we have a very short time compared to what we had in the beginning. Now we have 3 months in a foreign country where we have to plan for our return journey back home. We must say that we've been fortunate that things have fallen into place well, not without a headache, but finally we're looking at the brighter side of everything, and we are happy that we've managed to get the bikes on a vessel and they'll be on their way home. And also the president of Kenya has opened the airspace, and so there will be international flights coming back home, and we're looking to be home in August. So that's at least a positive side of everything. Now that brings us to the next step, or the next item on our planning to go back home. When we left home 2 years ago, we sold everything because that whatever we had was going to contribute into our budget and finances for this travel. We knew we were going to be out there for 3.5 years, probably 4, and then we will return back home and set up again. So mentally we haven't been prepared to return home. Physically we were not prepared, the timing was wrong, and then COVID happened. But now we also have to think about settling back home. So part of our planning has also included looking at our finances again. We are going back home at a time where people are losing jobs, businesses have closed, it's just difficult economically. The economy has taken a nosedive and makes things a little more difficult than when things were normal. Well, I feel that this time has been a difficult time, and not just for us, but for so many other people, especially those who were traveling and had a plan to travel long term. There is definitely some good news out of it, and there are things that are very exciting about just having to return back home. We are so excited to come back and be with our children again. That's one, and our family again. We are so excited to come back home and eat the food that we have missed for 2 years. That's another thing. And also, we are looking at the new opportunities that the world is going to present to us. All is not lost. All is not lost, guys. There are new opportunities that are going to come post-COVID. There are new things that are going to come. And we are so anxious and so eager to come and just see what the universe presents to us. What is the next journey from here? There are definitely lessons that I have learned that I would love to share with someone else who probably has had to end their travels impromptu. So the first thing is, as much as your emotions are a bit injured, have a positive mind and a positive attitude towards everything. This is not only going to help you not sulk back at home and sulk into depression or into stress, it's going to help you see new opportunities that are out there, because there's definitely new opportunities even at this time. The second most important thing that I have learned from this experience is that your return journey should not be planned at the end of the travel. To be honest, this is a lesson I've learned for me, and I'm sharing it with you because I know it's going to help you. Think about your return even when you're planning to leave for your long travel. Let me repeat. Think about your return back home when you're planning for your long travel. Because to be honest, if we had put our plan for return back home in place from day one of planning our travel, probably things would have been a little easier. And we've also taken this time to make use of the good internet to learn new things. For example, I started my YouTube. This YouTube account was there for a long time, and I know even during the travel I gave you a few videos here and there, but I've spent so much time learning from other YouTubers how to do it better, and I believe I have improved from the previous videos that you saw, and I'm looking forward to working much more on this channel to make it such a good channel. That's one of the fruits of the lockdown. I am prepared to face the future from here, and I am so excited to see what the new chapter brings my way. I hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. Help with the YouTube algorithm. Is that it? Yes, give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, and of course, if you haven't subscribed and you've come this far, please remember to subscribe. And remember, every Thursday there will be a motorcycle video, purely motorcycle content, so also remember to tune in on Thursday.